This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. We're broadcasting from the UN Climate Summit in Katowice, Poland. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Protests have just taken place here inside the UN climate talks over a presentation by the United States pushing for the expansion of coal power plants and other fossil fuels. Poland, which is hosting the climate talks, has also used the summit to promote coal. Several state-owned Polish coal companies have sponsored part of the talks. Well, on Sunday, Democracy Now! Visited the Gov't coal mine near Katowice, which has been turned into a mining museum.
Democracy Now!'s Mike Burke spoke with the Polish environmental lawyer Bartosz Kwiatkowski, director of the Frank Bold Foundation, which is involved in numerous lawsuits challenging the expansion of coal mining in Poland.
So my name is Bartosz Kwiatkowski. I'm a lawyer, and at the same time I'm a director of Frank Bold Foundation. It's a branch of international NGO based here in Poland, in Krakow. And mainly we work in the area of environmental law. Right now, obviously, we work also with climate change as such. So our cases in which we are helping other NGOs, so we are making also our own activities, and we are helping grassroots and citizens. They are connected with open pit mines, where lignite is extracted. They are connected with coal mines, and also they are connected with power plants, using coal and lignite to produce electricity. And mainly, as I said, we use environmental approach to fight against those installations, but also we are thinking about social problems connected with operation of this whole entities and how it impacts life of citizens.
And can you give an overview of the significance of coal in this region?
Oh, it's a very hard question, because it used to be the most important thing in Upper Silesia, but it has changed a lot. Right now, in the place where we are, more than 2.2 million of people live. At the same time, only 80,000 of them are miners. It used to be more than 300,000. So the situation completely has changed. And people right now, many people here in Upper Silesia are against coal as such, because coal is using coal and then extracting of coal is connected with many problems we have. I would say that we can look at coal from three perspectives. Problems connected with coal, we can look at them from three perspectives. The first one is connected obviously with climate changes. Yeah? So it's connected with operation of our power plants and emissions of greenhouse gases. And I would say it's the least recognized problem by Polish citizens. They don't feel it right now. So it started this year, big discussions around that, because of the conference in Katowice which is taking place, because of IPCC report. So it started to be a topic in media and also for regular citizens. The other perspective will be national, so using coal, lignite and regular coal, hard coal, as a fuel to heat your houses. It's a very, very big problem in Poland. Many people still use this fuel as a main fuel to heat houses, and because of that we have a huge problems with air quality. And the third thing will be local, so connected with places where the coal mines or open pit mines extracting lignite are located, and it's connected with environmental damages. So it's also connected with collapsing buildings and cracks in buildings. Here in Silesia, with some shakes of buildings, which happens from time to time. It's connected with lack of water, especially in the areas of open pit mines where farmers have not enough water to use their fields, and so on and so on. So this three perspectives, and I think that most of people right now in Poland see the coal and lignite from this perspective. As I recall, 72% of Polish people right now think that we should resign from coal as a main source of power. See, the problem with health and impact of smoke and air pollution on health is that we cannot really find the direct link between air pollution and diseases or deaths. World Health Organization is saying that every year in Poland around 45,000 of people are dying because of air pollution, but of course it doesn't work like this, that we are going outside our house and just falling down and dying, coughing. It's rather the process. And of course, it's a big problem for pregnant women, for elderly people, for people who have some heart diseases, lung diseases, some asthma problems, and so on. And we can see some regularity right now, that every year during winter, more such people are dying in hospitals.
Can you talk about where we are right now?
So we are in the Gov't coal mine in Zabrze, in Upper Silesia, and it's a former coal mine. It's not operating anymore. We are in the museum, and I think that's the best future for coal mines here in this region, to be the museum to show how it looked like many years ago. The coal mine was here established in the 19th century by Donnersmarck family, one of the noble Silesian families, and it ended its operations, I think, in 20 or 25 years ago. And right now you can visit and see how the coal mine operated in the 19th century on the first level, but you also can go deeper to 355 meters and see how the miners worked there 25 years ago.
All right, well, let's go in.
Okay, let's go.
All right, I guess we have to take the lift now.
We are going underground. We are in the lift which miners used to use when going every day down to dig coal. And the lift is going quite fast. I don't remember, it's 6 meters per second if I remember well, and you can feel it right now. So yeah, it's dark, cold. We can feel the pressure in our ears because of the atmosphere pressure is changing. And we are going a few hundred meters beneath the ground level.
All right, here we are.
Yeah, thank you. So we are 320 meters underground. So it's around the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, the Eiffel Tower is as high as the level we are right now. Yeah.
And now there are train tracks down here.
Yeah, the train with coal used to travel here. So the coal was transported to the shaft with carriages, you can see here. The same shaft was used for transporting coal and transporting miners underground. We are walking through the quite narrow and not very high tunnel underground. We can see the train which was used for transporting coal on our right, and we're also walking on tracks on which these carriages were riding. Oh, that's interesting, because here you can see the signature of one of the most famous Polish composers, Krzysztof Penderecki. So yeah, he was here on 5 years ago, 22nd of October 2013, yeah. So he signed on coal.
Now, we come from the United States, and President Trump campaigned on a platform of bringing coal back to the U.S. and opening new coal plants. And I'm wondering, if you had a chance to give President Trump a tour of, say, this coal mine, what would your message to him be?
Yeah, first message will be, look what's happening around the world, because we cannot see it here in Poland, for example, yet. But you can see it in the US already. I mean, some storms, some tornadoes and so on, it's all connected with climate change. And the main reason why the climate is changing, why the temperature is rising, is using coal, it's using petrol, gas and so on. So we have to stop to do this. Many people who came here to Katowice and are talking about that every day, that they are losing their land, they are losing their houses, they're losing their lives because of the climate change. So we can switch to something different. That doesn't mean that we don't have, I don't know, labor, because we can work in renewables, for example, and also many people will be employed there. Talking from Polish perspective, right now the energy from renewables is cheaper than the energy from power plants using coal. So that's the direction we should go.
I also have a question about the protests. We arrived in Poland on Saturday and went straight to the climate protest that marched out to the entrance of the COP conference. And we were shocked by the number of police. You had both riot police and what looked like undercover police patrolling the street for a somewhat small protest. What were your reaction to what happened yesterday?
Yeah, the protest, if I heard correctly, the number of protesters was 4,000 people. and the number of police officers around was more than 1,500. So it's a little bit crazy, to be honest, and that's the first time I see such a situation that's so, let's say, small march, at the time so peaceful march, because people marching there were really peacefully orientated, gather so many police officers. And that fits in whole policy that the government is doing around COP. They are saying that there is a high terrorist risk right now in Poland. They introduced a special law which is banning the spontaneous gatherings in Katowice. There are regulations which allow police and other services, such authorities, to make some surveillance over the citizens and the COP attendees. I don't see the real threats here, and that for me that's not proportional at all, and that's breaching our human rights to protest, to say what we think about the climate change, what we think about our government or other governments' policies. And
what message do you think this sends, to climate activists, that they're being treated almost like enemies of the state?
That's the problem, that many of eco-activists are sure that their phones, for example, are eavesdropped. Many activists were arrested in the past for the actions. In Białowieża forest, for example, people were, when they were fighting against cutting down the oldest forest in Europe, the force was used against them, they were hit, and afterwards they were convicted, that they were accused of committing crimes. So that's the message we get every day, really, here in Poland, and not only in Poland. So it's nothing new for us. But when IPCC is saying that we've got only 12 years to act, I think it's time to get to the table to talk, and not to fight with each other. We should be partners, not enemies.
Now, as a lawyer, can you talk about some of the legal struggles that are going on in this country right now around coal projects and around other projects connected to climate change?
Oh, we've got a lot of legal actions taken by not only civic society as such, but also some investors of power plants who think that some investments are against their interest. Also taken by ordinary people who live near the coal mine or a power plant. And those actions are connected with stopping construction of new open pit mines, with expanding of old ones, with expanding of stopping expansion of coal mines. Here in Silesia, for example, what connects with a huge risk to environment, also huge risk for the comfort and security of people living next to the coal mine. We also monitor the emissions which are made by power plants. Very often, unfortunately, those power plants try to hide how much emissions of greenhouse gases or mercury they do. So we are using almost every possible legal tool to stop the harm this whole sector is doing to the environment, and also to the citizens, because functioning of coal mines, and especially open pit mines, is connected with lack of water. Lack of water means the discomfort in your everyday life, but also farmers, for example, cannot operate at all without water. So that's a big problem for people as well.
It's interesting that they turned this coal mine into a museum. And I'm wondering, how much discussion is going on in Poland about, moving away from coal as an energy source and moving towards renewables?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the surveys are showing that 72% of people right now is supporting the idea of leaving coal. And this discussion started. Unfortunately, the government, and not only the current government, in fact all our governments after 1989, support coal and support coal miners because of political reasons. Yeah, but for sure, as I said, the coal is ending, so even if we don't want to make a transition, we have to. And the faster we start to discuss it, the faster we start to make decisions, the better for us, and the better for climate and environment, of course.
Now, what about wind power?
That's a big problem right now, because our government, or rather the parliament last year, introduced a special regulation which in fact ban the construction of new wind power.
Right now they're trying to expand coal mining, but at the same time they're banning wind power?
Yeah, unfortunately that's true.
right. Well, I guess the lift is here to go back up. One final question I have for you before we go is, what is your message for delegates inside the UN Climate Change Conference this week, which is, taking place in your homeland?
Yeah, I think that everybody here has the same message. I mean, the representative of third sector of NGOs, that politicians talk and leaders act. And I think that's the main message. You have to start acting, not only talking about that. And you have to agree with experts. You are not experts in climate issues, and you have to trust scientists who are really experts in the area. And when they are talking, that's the last ring for us. We've got 2 minutes before midnight, and we are going to die in some time. We have to act today. Yeah? That's important for us, for our kids, for the future of the planet.
Polish environmental lawyer Bartosz Kwiatkowski.